And now we are talking about level of stress. Stress is pronunciation of a word or syllable with more force than the surrounding syllable or words. A stressed word or syllable is produced by using more earphone sound. It is often heard as being louder than the surrounding unstressed ones. Stress is a syllable or stressed words and normally on a higher pitch with longer duration. There are three levels of stress in English. The first one, primary stress. Slant and long syllable in a word with a very noticeable change in pitch on the vowel. In one syllable, one syllable has a primary stress. 2. Secondary stress. She has a syllable with as stress, but not as much primary stress. So she are loud and loud with a change in pitch, but not as loud and loud as the syllable such as the primary stress. The change in pitch on vowel is not quite as noticeable. 3. Abstract syllable. Syllables that have no stress at all with that sound, and shorten the vowel if it is a more common one. The change pitch the vowel is barely noticeable, but it is there.
Start with primary stress. Flu or 10. It's the only syllable in the word, so of course it receives the primary stress. That makes sense. Second level of stress is secondary stress. An example of secondary stress would be the first syllable in this word, disappear. We do spend some time on this syllable and we do make the vowel louder and longer, but not quite as much as we do on this last syllable, the third syllable, peer. Third level of stress is the unstressed syllable. I often tell my students to just cut the vowel, pretend like it's not there at all, even though it is there, but that the idea of cutting the vowel seems to work. When people are used to giving equal stress to every syllable, which is the timing pattern of a lot of other languages, getting people to learn to cut.
About in English, stressed and unstressed syllable can be distinguished by difference in length, pitch, loudness, or vowel. Quarterly as shown in table below.
Hello, my name is Mai Han, and today I will talk about word stress placement. So before we start, let's watch a video.
All syllables are the same in a word. Some syllables are long and loud, other syllables are short and quiet, and some syllables are in between. We can differentiate between three types of word stress: primary stress, secondary stress, and unstressed syllables.
So after watching the videos, we know that there are three types of word stress. But today, I will only talk about the primary stress. The primary stress in the word tend to fall on the final syllable, the second last syllable, or the third last syllable. So next, I will introduce to you some stress pattern on simple words and derivative words.
Rule number 1 for word stress. Many nouns and adjectives consisting of 2 syllables stress the first syllable. Here are some examples. First of all, nouns. Monday, city, music, laptop, country, table, color, future, kitchen, etc. I could go on and on, there are many. And some adjectives: easy, happy, modern, open, funny, simple, lucky, busy. This is also a big.
So, words ending in this. We stress in the second last syllable. I have some example. The first word is economic. Economic. The second word is decision. Decision. And the last word is conversation. Conversation. So words ending in this. We stress in the third last syllable. I have some example. Technology, technology. Practicality, practicality. Photography, photography. This rule is true for all polysyllabic verb and adjective ending in this, such as graduate, graduate, estimate, estimate, and so on. So, last, the words that have the following ending typical, then we stress in the final syllable. For example, entertain, entertain, volunteer, volunteer, kittenage, kittenage, unique, unique, interview, interview, balloon, balloon.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Group 2. So today I'm gonna talk about stress patterns on compound words. A compound noun is created when two or more words are joined together, so often that the combination of words is interpreted as a single noun. Close compounds are easy to recognize because they look like a single word. However, open compounds, where a space remains between the words, are also quite common in English. When common nouns are spoken aloud, the first word usually receives more stress than the second word. The first is main stress on the first part. For compound nouns, the first part is heavily stressed if their structure are as follows: noun plus noun, noun plus verbing, verbing plus noun, verb plus noun. For compound adjective, the combination have the primary stress on the first component. Noun plus inform, noun plus past participle, and the second is main stress on the second part. For compound nouns, the second part is primarily stressed in these patterns: adjective plus noun, adjective plus verbing, past particle plus noun. For compound adjectives, primary stress falls on the second part in the following structures: noun plus adjective, adjective plus noun, adverb or adjective plus participle, adverb, adjective plus inform. With compound nouns, the stress normally comes on the first part of the word. I will underline the area that should be stressed. For some example, seaweed, greenhouse, supermarket, seat belt, blackbird. With compound verbs, the stress normally comes on the final part of the word. For some example, understand, overbook, overflow. And with compound adjective, the stress normally comes on the first part of the last word. For some example, big-headed, old-fashioned, tight-fisted, bad-tempered. So I'm gonna give you some videos for example.
So I'll give you one example, first of all, of a compound noun. Seaweed. Seaweed. So can you hear where the stress is in that sentence, right? Seaweed. Where is the stress? On sea or on weed? It's on the first syllable. Seaweed. With verbs, we stress the final syllable. So have a go, see if you can hear it here when we have kind of two parts of words that come together, like understand. I don't understand. Understand. Yeah? We don't say understand. We don't say understand. Understand. Stand is a little bit more stressed, you might hear. These are compound adjectives. A compound adjective is where we have two words that make an adjective, like big-headed. He's so big-headed. That means he's so kind of selfish. He thinks he's more important than other people. Big-headed. Can you hear the stress here? Big-headed.
Rule number 5 for word stress. Compound nouns. Compound nouns, just like the nouns in rule number 1, are usually stressed on the first syllable. Remember, compound nouns are nouns created out of two nouns put together. Let's have a look at some examples. Football. It's not football, but football. Stress on the first syllable. Rule number 6 for word stress. Compound adjectives. Those are adjectives put together to form a new adjective with a new meaning. Often they have a little hyphen in between. Those adjectives are usually stressed on the second syllable, the second word. Here are some examples. Hard-working, part-time, long distance, well-behaved.
Now we are going to learn about weak form and strong form. In English, there are some words that can be pronounced in two ways, known as weak form and strong form. Most words with both weak and strong form belong to category known as grammatical word or function word, such as modifier, preposition, conjunction, and many words. The words have less semantic content than all, but they are more grammatical or referential function usually contain words. Together, function words are often used in weak form with vowel pronounced so they are very weak and sometimes quite difficult for any learner to hear correctly. So, what about weak form? To understand more about it, we will watch some introduction video.
What are weak forms? Now, weak forms can be defined as words that are unstressed when we speak naturally. This is a very simple definition. To be a little bit more specific, weak forms are really sounds in syllables that are unstressed. And we call this usually connected speech. Connected speech is when we speak naturally at natural speed. Now, because these sounds in the syllables are unstressed, as a result, the vowel sound is reduced, and it is reduced to a short vowel sound, and very often it is reduced to a schwa sound. And remember, the schwa sound is simply a, and this is also a short vowel sound. Let's have a look at an example. Here is the word some. Now we can say this in isolation, or we could also stress it in a sentence, and it sounds like this. Some. It's the full form and the vowel sound is a. Some. However, usually this word is not stressed and it occurs in its weak form with the schwa. A. Some. So if it's stressed, some. And if it is unstressed, the weak form is some. The difference here might not be as big. You'll see some other examples where the difference is very obvious.
And how about strong form? The weak form is usually used in every English conversation, especially when speaking fast, but there are many situations you have to speak in a strong form for the following. The first is when it is the end of a term. For example, who are you looking for? Second, either when it shows a contrast. For example, if for her, not for him. Third is when it's cited. For example, you should put but between your two clouds. And finally, is when it's used for the purpose of emphasis. For example, you must finish the assignment on time. Now let's come to you with sentences start.
Hi, I'm Z, and now I will present next part, 5.4 Sentence Stress. Notion. Sentence stress is the stressed word in a sentence, which are usually pronounced louder and slower than read. Slower and faster pronunciation. Learner may be used to stressing word. Here's an example of stress in a sentence for better understanding. Example 1. The kids are at the park. In this sentence, kids and pop are straight. Example 2. Do you have any brother or sister? In this sentence, brother and sister are straight. Sentence straight is what gives English its rhythm or beat. Do you remember that? Word straight is action on one syllable within a word. Sentence straight is action for certain word within a sentence. Most sentences have two basic types of words. The first is content word. Content words are the key word of a sentence. They are the important words that carry the meaning or sense, the real content. For example, Peter is a doctor. In this sentence, doctor is content word. The second is structure word. Structure words are not very important words. They are small, simple words that make the sentence correct grammatically. They give the sentence its correct form, its structure. For example, how often do you go to cinema? I eliminate the structure word. We have how often go cinema. It's still meaning. When structure words are skimmed, the vowel sound in the word often convert to the sound. For example, to become t, and become n, for become f. Finally, I think they are not much different in general knowledge in textbook and on the internet. Sentence straight make speaking more natural. Learners should practice pressing according to the rules mentioned above instead of just focusing on the straight of a word.
Let's look at some examples, and I've given you several examples on this slide and also the following one, and while we read over them and I'll show you which words are stressed, I want you to pay attention really what type of words these are, because you can probably figure out afterwards which words we tend to stress. So the first sentence is, the kids want pizza for dinner. And the words that are stressed I've put in purple, and there's a little stress bubble above them. Now the words kids and want both only consist of one syllable. This is pretty easy. That's the one obviously that's stressed. And then pizza and dinner both consist of two syllables, but only the first one is stressed, and so that's why half of the word is only in purple. P and D, so pizza and dinner are P and D basically are the syllables that are stressed, and so the bubble is just above that part of the word, okay? And then we've got another example. Painting and reading are my favorite hobbies. So paint, read, favorite hobbies, okay? Those four words, and within the word, those syllables are stressed. Painting, reading, favorite hobbies.
Here's our suggestion. Again, think about it like this. If you hear the content words, you can understand the meaning of the sentence. Phone broken, going buy new one. If you hear only the grammar words, it doesn't make any sense at all. My, so, I'm, to, By the way, this idea can also really help your English listening. You can see that you don't need to hear every word to understand the meaning of a sentence. If you focus on listening to the stressed words, you can understand someone's meaning, even if you don't hear the unstressed grammar words. Anyway, let's practice this sentence. Can you say the sentence with the stress? Repeat after me. My phone's broken, so I'm going to buy a new one.